Hello and happy Halloween, and welcome to episode 28 of Arcadiology, where we dig up your favorite arcade relics. My name is Jordan Carruthers, and I'm here with my three best friends in the world, the Wigan Boys. Bloody Brad.
What up?
Spooky Sky.
Boo.
And Killer Kyle.
Oh, saw dudes.
Sorry, boys. I had something in my throat there. How's it going?
What's up, dude? That was spooky.
That sounded a little froggy there.
Happy Halloween, almost, kinda-ish. By the time this episode comes out, boys, how y'all doing tonight?
You got me all
Doing good,
spooked
doing
out, dude.
Dude, I'm sorry to scare you, man. I didn't mean to do all that.
That spoopy intro.
Dude, you got to keep it spoopy, man. It's that time of the year. All right, boys. Let's hop right into it. But you know how we always start this off. Why don't you guys tell me what you've been playing besides for our game for the evening?
A little bit of Deadlock, same as last time. I get on play that a little bit. It's kind of the main thing I'm playing now, even though I'm not playing it that much. But there is news. Brad, I don't know if you've heard, but I think something's going down with 343 Studios with Halo. I don't know I don't looked into all the details yet, but something's going down. I think they're getting rid of 343 or something, or rebranding. And so they're bringing Halo to the Unreal 5 engine. So there could be good news around the corner for Halo.
Okay. I heard something very briefly. I just heard they renamed from 343 to Halo Studios or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, things have to have changed as far as I would think the actual employees go, because I don't know if just changing a name for no reason, what that would even do. I feel like they're having to rebrand it, but also maybe have new management and stuff. I'm not sure. I just heard something briefly about it as well, but it's something I'll be keeping an eye on here going forward.
Always good to get some new Halo news. I'm definitely interested in that one.
Yeah, we'll see how that unfolds, but that's all I've been up to.
Well, what I've been up to is I got another random game for you guys here. This one is
As
called...
always.
As always, gotta stick with it. This one's called Ragugaki, or Ragugaki, something like that. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but it's another action platformer. It's a 3D one. It's set in a kind of a futuristic cyberpunk looking setting. The combat of it kind of reminds me of a mix between something like Bayonetta, Devil May Cry, and then throw a little Splatoon in there, because it's a graffiti based game. So you're kind of going around the stages, tagging these different locations, and the movement feels pretty good. It's nice and smooth. You have a double jump, your attack, you have a dash. And your dash, it shoots all this paint out behind you, so you're kind of just I don't know, almost you're surfing on the land. You're just kind of cruising everywhere, and as you're going, there's these paint trails behind you and stuff. It's kind of what gives a Splatoon feel there. But I don't know, it's a lot of fun. You just kind of go around the levels. It's a lot of industrial looking buildings and stuff, and stages. But as you're going around, since you're tagging these and cruising across the floor, you're leaving all these paint splatters. So the stages start out real bare looking, but then as you go through them, it gets all colorful and stuff from all the different stuff you're doing as you're progressing through it. It also has these little rails and stuff you grind. It gives a little bit of Sonic Adventure vibes there too, the way how fast you're cruising around and you hit little rails and start dashing through stuff. But I don't know, it's a pretty fun game. It just a lot going on with it. I've almost at the end of it, but I'll probably finish it up next week.
I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes these weird random games that you find sound more interesting than a quarter of these arcade games I've had to play so far.
Had to play.
I have to. You guys pick them, which I have a new
Y'all
rule.
too, man.
We'll get into it later, but
Oh, later. Okay.
I've still been playing Dragon Nest a little bit. It's pretty easy to level right now because I have returning bonuses. So I hit the level cap, which is 99, and now I'm just trying to grind for materials and get better equipment pretty much. But other than that, most of my time has been spent playing this game. So
Yeah.
I feel bad for you.
the past week has been just nothing but grinding. So yeah.
You put more time into it than I did.
I put way too much time into this. I don't remember the last time I was this angry.
I'm right there with you, man.
I get it, man. I put the amount of time into it that I could.
Let's just say right off the bat, this is so far the hardest game we've played.
We'll get into it soon. Yeah, soon enough.
Yeah, that's pretty much this game has been taking all my time trying to get through it. So
That's about it for you then?
yes, sir.
All right. Well, as far as me, the only thing kind of new to talk about, you guys know me. I kind of just keep it with the classics. I don't buy a whole lot of new games, or I don't really hop into a lot of indie stuff like Brad. I kind of just like to replay the stuff that I like, and I picked up some Roller Coaster Tycoon again because that is a game that will just never escape me, dude. Probably sounds dumb to people, but that's like a top 5 video game of all time to me. Like for my personal favorites, that's like a top 5, top 10. I will play the hell out of that game all the time.
Game's old school.
Absolutely, but it still plays. It's still so fun today, man. I've been playing the mobile version, which I know probably sounds kind of dumb, but for anyone who's never played the mobile version, and when I say that, I mean like the real mobile version, because they have like kind of weird, crappy knockoff, like what you would expect a mobile version of it to be. But then they actually have RCT Classic for, I think it's just on iPhone. I don't even know if it's still in the App Store or not, but it's the actual game. It's legitimately just touchscreen Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. And I started playing that again a few days ago. And the only thing that kind of sucks, so Kyle, you remember how a few months ago I absolutely freaking obliterated my phone.
Yeah, I do.
At the rock climbing gym. So my old phone was one of the really like big screen. It was like the iPhone Plus, one of the giant ones. And then when I got a new one, it's slightly smaller, and the game is very clearly like meant for the really giant screens because it kind of doesn't quite fit on the screen perfectly. It's still playable, but a lot of the like the pop-ups that you have to drag around and exit out and whatnot will kind of get stuck behind other things, so you can't really do them super well, but still playable, just a bit of a pain in the butt now. It is what it is. It's still one of my favorite games ever, and I'll still play it. Just sitting around watching TV, I'll play it all the time.
All right. I mean, top 5 is crazy to say, but it is definitely like a
top 10. Maybe not 5, but top 10 for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a comfort game. You know what I mean? When you're just wanting to sit back and just chill, nothing really matters. You can kind of mess around, do whatever. Then I can definitely see the appeal.
And like I first played the original one whenever I was a little kid. My brother got it, and he was like, "Oh, I heard good things about this game." And I remember we were young, so we were kind of having a hard time figuring out some of the little tiny details about it that you really needed to know to be good. My parents started getting really into it, and I started figuring it out more. And here I am, like, God, 25 years later or something like that, still rocking out to this game. 25 years, something like that. It's
like The Sims, but like before they like turn 18 and get responsibilities.
Yeah, there you go.
I have one distinct memory of playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, like before my 6th grade field trip was staying up at night. I didn't want to go to bed, so I just kept playing that. It's one of those things where you're getting excited for the next day. You can't fall asleep, so I was just grinding out some Roller Coaster Tycoon before
There you go.
That might have been the last time I remember playing it. It's a fun game, though.
You got to play it again, man, someday. It's still great.
Still
some of them games just
still holds up.
They don't lose their fun value, man.
Not at all.
Just doesn't matter when they were made. They're always fun.
Tycoon 2 was definitely the peak because Tycoon 3 was awful. It was terrible. But 2, man, and that's pretty much like the one that's on the iPhone is 2. It's just kind of with some extra maps. So much fun, man. And yeah, like Kyle said, it's definitely a comfort game. You can just sit there at any time. Like, I'll just do it while I'm watching TV or whatever, or like in the car or whatever. Obviously not driving, but I'll just bust it out and have a good time with it for like a good 20, 30 minutes or so.
Bro, he slipped that in there in case law enforcement was listening. He said, obviously not driving.
Hello, Mr. Police.
To cover his bases real quick.
Obviously, I wasn't driving for legal reasons.
His lawyer told him to say that.
Just in case. That's all I got, boys. Anything else you wanna talk about, or you want to talk about our extremely difficult game for the evening?
Let's get spooky, boys.
Yeah, I'm ready for this. This is my comfort game.
Oh, you have a weird way of feeling comfort, my friend. But let's go ahead and dig up some ghosts and goblins. Goblins is a run-and-gun platformer developed and published by Capcom in 1985. You control the knight Arthur on a quest to save Princess Prin, very creative name, I know, from the Demon King Astaroth. Wielding different weapons such as lances, daggers, shields, and torches, you battle through waves of undead enemies over 7 platforming stages. So, friends, this game, as we said, is crazy hard. Now, we thought Outzone was hard. This is probably way worse than Outzone. So we typically, for skill games, as opposed to just pump coins until you beat it, we just cut to the chase right here at the beginning. Just tell me now, boys, how far did everybody get before their spirit and soul was crushed?
Kyle, I want to hear what you would go first, because we know Kyle plays these games like an hour before.
Yes.
Did you start any earlier than that, or what happened here tonight?
No, he did not.
I talked to him at work last night. He didn't even play it.
Bro, what?
You didn't even start it till today.
He didn't even start it.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Let's hear this. How far did this get you?
So anyways, I started this at about 7 o'clock. So
no.
about 2 hours.
It's
2 hours.
9:30.
2 hours before the pod was supposed to start.
Oh, man. This is not the game for that, bro.
Now, I will say, this is not the game for that, but... Alright.
Oh my god.
He's got a point, but... So you guys, like, talked it up so much about how hard it was, that I was just like, if I start it 2 hours before the pod, or I start it 2 weeks before the pod, I'm going to get to the same spot, because of how hard you guys made it sound. And while this game is difficult, I did not beat this game, but I think I could have beat this game.
You don't say.
If I like actually played it,
How far
because
did
I got
you
through the first stage. At least I think I got through the first stage.
Get out of here.
So wait, a stage
You
ends
think?
when you get the key, right?
Yes.
Get the key, go through the door. That's the stage. So I got through the first stage, and it took me like 3 credits to do. So I thought like, okay, that wasn't that bad. And then so I think I started getting through the second stage, and the part that was like most annoying for me, I think, is when you get to the place where it's like looks like a little orange hotel building, and the windows open up, and like those little
Goblins.
little flappy things come out, little flappy birds come out.
Yeah.
Like that was annoying because I like picked up a weapon on accident. I'm just gonna come out and say this. I think there's no reason to like not use the spear unless apparently you guys need a shield at some point. But other than that, all these other weapons suck. And I got stuck with these other weapons. And like even when you die and fully game over, like it just keeps the weapon that you had, which is dumb to me. Because I just wanted my lance thing back and it would never give it back to me. But I ended up getting to, I think I got past the stupid hotel buildings. So I think I'm on stage 2, right?
Right.
And I get to where you're doing like the platforms are all like floating up and down and you're jumping over the water.
Mm-hmm.
So I got past that water part, but I did not beat that stage.
There's 2 bosses at the end. You have to fight 2 like those unicorns at once. Did you fight
Yeah,
them?
that's it. That's right after.
Okay, yeah, so I got to the water part. So I was almost, oh my god, I was so close to being done with that stage now that I look at it.
Yeah, you're at the boss.
Now that I look at it, I was right there. So unfortunately, this is what happened. I was getting through the water thing, and like the jump in this game is just god awful. So
Yeah.
I ended up like, I was little at the very end, right? And I go to like jump, and it does this weird wonky jump where you can't switch directions, and I fall into the water. And as I fall into the water, I grab my phone, because I'm like, for some reason the whenever you like have a game over, I know you guys can probably agree it takes way too long. Like just let me click OK and start the game again.
Yeah.
But it like makes me listen to this music, and it's like a whole thing. So I pick up my phone thinking it was like going to that screen, and I pick up my phone and I'm like, I had a message whatever I was doing, but when I looked back up, I missed the timer to like continue the game,
Oh,
and I was like, well, I'm done.
Yeah, the game over.
I'm not doing that again.
Annoying.
Yeah, but so I think like I was doing fine. Like I thought I was fine. Apparently, all I had to do was jump that gap, kill these 2 guys, and I would beat stage 2, and I would continue. But like, I don't know. I think I could have beat this one, man. Or I don't know how hard it gets later, but like the first 2 stages didn't seem awful.
There's aren't easier than the rest of the. Well, stage 4 was super easy, but other than that, 1 and 2 were the easiest.
Yeah.
3 is ridiculously hard. Well, not ridiculously, but yeah, I don't know. It gets hard. It gets much, much harder than that. But
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
doing the first stage and 3 credits on your first run, I think that's pretty good though.
That's respectable.
That's why I was like,
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
through that, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? This can't be like, there's no way these guys. These I know like Brad puts a lot of time into these and plays them a lot and like figures all the strategies out. And he was like saying that they use hundreds of credits, and I beat the first stage in like 3, and I was like, something's not adding up here.
Yeah.
He's like, man, Brad really sucks.
I don't want to say it. The guy's like a brother to me, but he sucks.
It's like a brother.
Oh, man.
Oh man.
But so yeah, that's as far as I got, dude.
That's a very long-winded way of saying you got to the end of stage 2, so there's the answer for Kyle.
I had to explain it, dude.
Anyway, I'll go second because I'm going to very, very safely assume that Brad and Sky will be past me. I did want to put more time into this game. It's been some kind of a week for me over here, so I didn't get to play it quite as much as I was hoping to. The majority of the time I put into it was for maybe an hour or two yesterday, and then maybe an hour or so before we recorded today. And unfortunately, man, I was making some good progress right before we started recording, but obviously time just kind of caught up and I had to stop. I finished stage 3. So I got to the beginning of stage 4, and that's pretty much all I had time for. I didn't get to actually do stage 4 yet. So maybe I can hop back in at some point and try stage 4 out, but as for now, as of this recording, I have beaten the first 3 stages.
Okay. Yeah, stage 4 I think is one of the easier ones, so I don't think you'll have too much trouble there if you beat stage 3. Stage 3 was pretty rough for a while. I got stuck on that for a bit.
Yeah. That was a point. Like I felt like I made rapid progress until I hit like the checkpoint on stage 3.
I absolutely spent maybe 70% of my time playing this game on the second half of stage 3. I pretty much had that second half down to a science.
Yeah, that's like the first major choke point.
Yeah. I knew where every single enemy was going to pop out at. I knew when to throw my weapon at each time. I had that second half of stage 3 freaking down. It was just a matter of not dying to the specific enemy later on.
All right, I guess I'll go up next here. I unfortunately did not beat it. I got so close. I mean, I've played this game for like 2 weeks here now. I mean, on and off. I'd play for a while. I'd get stuck in a spot and just keep on grinding and grinding. I got to a point where I played one stage so long I forgot all the stages before it. So I was like, I'm gonna have to replay this game to even remember what happened because I don't know anything else. I didn't even remember my name at that point. I know
Just play so long you don't even know anything.
Yeah. But with that being said, I made it to the very end of stage 6, where you have to fight like these 2 Satan guys or whatever they are at the top of the stage. That's at the very end of it. You have to fight 2 of them. They're super hard. I was able to kill one of them, and the second one killed me. If I would have beat him, then you'd go to the final boss. But I got to the top of that probably like, I don't even know, 15, 20 times, but I could never beat them. They were so hard.
Brutal.
Oh man. All right. So yeah, what Jordan was saying, level 3 was definitely like a stopping point for me for quite a while. I was stuck there for hours trying to get past that second half. I got past that. Level 4 was a breeze. Level 5 was the next one because you have to fight, like Brad said, on level 6 there's them 2 Satan guys you have to fight. But the level before that, level 5, when you get to the top, you have to fight one of them. And those guys are so unpredictable and hard to understand how to control them and stuff. So I was stuck on stage 5 for probably 4 hours trying to get through it.
Yeah, same.
Finally, I did get past that. I got to stage 6. That was another thing. I was on stage 6. That's the one I got stuck on. I must have spent like just on that level alone probably almost 100 credits by itself. Like I was grinding this level for like 6 hours for real. So I had to take a break from it because it was getting on my nerves. Then I came back the next day, played for a little bit, started getting wrecked. I was like, nope, I'm done. So I take like little mini breaks for a couple hours, watch some TV, get some food, come back, try a couple. Took me forever. Eventually I did beat that.
Oh.
So I did beat stage 6. I got to the final boss. Final boss was the only part where I had no idea how to hurt this guy. I had no clue what was going on. Like I was spamming him and I ran out of time and I never killed him. So I was like, what's going on? I thought the game like bugged or something. So that's the only part in the game where I had to actually look up a video and find out how do you kill this guy. And it's a really specific spot. Like he has like a face on his stomach. You have to jump up in the air and as you're falling, hit that face at a certain point. It's easy once when I saw somebody do it, but trying to figure it out, I had no idea how to hit this guy. So I did need to watch a video for that, but he was pretty easy because your checkpoint is right in front of him, so you just keep fighting him until you win. So anyway, long story short, I beat both loops.
Hey,
What?
both of
You went
them.
And you
through.
looped it.
I went. I know we didn't plan on it. We said just to beat it once, but I wanted to do it for myself because this game was making me mad. So
Man,
I went through. I did it twice and got the true ending.
We'll make it clear. We'll point it out here. This is another one of those games we've seen a few times now where to technically officially beat it, you have to play through the game twice. Like you finish it the first time and it says like, "Oh, just kidding, do it again." And then you'll get the true ending the second time, which is a really I hate that. It's so dumb to me. And every time we
Yeah.
have one of those games, we just say beat it the first time and that's it. Sky here is just trying to get some extra credit or something.
I just really wanted to do it honestly because tell you the truth, I was so mad. But after I finally started playing this, like figuring stuff out after playing for so long, the second loop I blitzed through that pretty quick up until the last stage again, and then again got stuck with those two demons at the top. So that was like a whole thing for a couple hours again.
Did you come up with a strategy to beat them, or did you just kind of do it enough and you finally just broke through?
At first, I thought I did, and then just when you think you have something down, they do something random that they never did
Yeah.
before, and
Yep.
it's never consistent. So the second time through, I'm like, all right, man. I feel like I got lucky the first loop, so I started looking up videos and trying to read about it. I'm reading all this stuff and watching people play, but then when I try to put that into practice, they don't do what those guys are doing.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I noticed.
it doesn't work out the same way. Like you can't just follow a video. But generally, I didn't see anybody do this, but my own strategy for them was as soon as you get to the top of the ladder, the dude's on the right side at the top. So I run to the left. Anytime they go off screen, they'll do their little dash thing and fly onto screen again. And if you do that, that like resets their aggro, I guess you want to call it, like before they swoop in at you. If you keep walking away from them and they get off screen, that'll reset it and they'll fly back and start shooting again. So I would just walk away. As he comes back to the screen, I jump towards him, hit him like twice, and then run to the left again, get him off screen. That'll reset him, and I just keep doing that. And eventually you can just kill him. But that doesn't always work because they also fly up and down. So if they're too high in the air, you can't even touch them. And then you have to start climbing ladders to like lower their height, and that's when it gets sketchy and they swoop on you.
Yeah, if you catch a ladder, you're pretty much dead half the time.
Dude,
Like, if you
yeah,
catch it on
yeah.
accident, yeah, it's rough.
like if they stay at a decent height or they come a little bit lower, then I would just keep running to the left to lure them, and as soon as they charge on screen, I'll jump right in their face, hit them a couple times, and then run away again and get them off the screen. If I got a good pattern like that and I got like decent AI, I could take them out. But that's not always consistent. That only works when they stay at a decent height. Then they start flying too high, then you got to go down ladders, make them drop down, and then you risk getting sniped out or they swoop in on you. And if they go too low, you can't climb any ladders because they're going to come flying right at you. So it's even if you figure out how to kill these dudes, they can still be unpredictable and still wreck you. And then just as another challenge to myself, we're not tracking credits, but I was curious how many it would take me to beat it.
Oh
So
boy.
after all that, I did a brand new run. I didn't use any save state practice at all. Like that was all my initial playthrough, whatever, 200 credits. I would save state, figure a section out, and then I would die, go to the checkpoint, and do it like legit. So after I felt like I got a decent handle on it, I just wanted to see how fast I could do it, like how many credits I could spend. So I started the whole game over. I didn't use any save state practice at all. If I died, I would just play it from the checkpoint every single time. And I ended up beating both loops in 15 credits.
What?
That's unprecedented.
That's out of control.
Dude, I'm proud of this achievement, I gotta say.
That's your best achievement since Alien Syndrome.
That
Yeah,
is.
you go
Man.
too hard on some of these, man. God dang.
I did not expect to go this hard in this game. Like I hated it the first like 2 hours. I was like almost done already. I was like, dude, this is the worst game in history. I'm done. This sucks. It's cheap.
Wow.
But I wanted to beat it, man. I wanted to get through it. I grinded this like a madman.
Games like these, dude, take like a very particular person, and apparently Skylar is that person.
Now let's not put a name to what that means. I don't.
Well,
Don't go calling me a name now. We'll just say a particular person. We don't got to say what that means.
I will say that every time we play one of these harder games, it's always, I hate every second of this. I just want to play something that's more simple, that's a little more user friendly. I think this was maybe the first time where we played something really hard, where I actually felt like satisfied when I was starting to figure it out.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
I would realize like, oh, I'm actually kind of getting this down. I'm kind of understanding some of these patterns. And it was like, okay, I'm actually kind of enjoying going through this now and like using what I've learned. So like I'll give it its flowers for that.
That's the thing. Like even if you get all the patterns down, there is still like bullcrap and luck involved in this game. Just depending on how the enemies move. You find that out, dude. You find that out in stage 1 with that like red imp guy.
Oh, do you guys want to talk about him?
Dude, that guy.
He's definitely the first like
How
like,
was he in the middle of the first
easy.
level?
The game's easy until you get to him. He's the first thing that really is gonna hold you back. I don't know if I'm necessarily saying this right. It's like Red Armorer or something. It's like Arremer. So we're just gonna call him the Red Armorer or something like that. But man, this dude's frustrating because first of all, he flies. He has a ranged attack, and he jumps and flies away whenever you attack him. So as Brad told us, pretty much the only way that you can I mean, every now and then you might get a lucky shot off on him, but pretty much what you have to do is stand there and wait until he decides to land and then charge at you, and then you got to get 3 shots off really quick before he hits you. On we talked about stage 3, the second half of stage 3. There's like 5 of those guys. And some of them you're able to actually just kind of run past and they'll disappear. That first one you definitely have to take on, and I had him so down to a T. I did every single little movement the exact same way every time. And that was frustrating, but like I said, once I figured it out, man, it felt nice.
Yeah, that one, stage 3, the same one. I had him figured out too. Like I wait for as soon as I'd spawn, I'd walk a couple steps forward, wait for him to go over me, and he'd shoot down. That would cue me to walk to the right. That would mean he would land on the left, and then I'd wait a second. He'd charge at me. I'd turn around, 3-shot him, and then start running up the cliffs there. Then
Yep.
You have to fight a second one right up there, and you can just outrun him, and he disappears. But then even further than that, you go up this ladder, and then I go up 2 ladders, and there's another one that spawns behind you. Then I go down a 3rd ladder. I loop back around to the first ladder, and it makes him disappear. So you can kind of outrun a few of them there. And then if you go like the loop up back up to the top of that area, back up both the ladders, you can like jump over the last one. So you only have to fight one other one at the bottom. But yeah, that one, if you figure the path out, you only really have to fight 2 of them. But they're everywhere on that stage.
Yeah, the path I took on stage 3, every time I had to fight 3, and then 2 of them I was able to just kind of run away from. There was always one spot near the end of stage 3. It's right before it drops down into the pit at the very end. I knew that as soon as I got up to that ledge up there, I could just bull rush, and I could just run and jump over the ledge and go right down, and every single enemy always flew in the exact same pattern around me.
Yeah.
So I only had to fight that very first one like right in the middle who's kind of like in a little ditch, and then the one at the very bottom right before the boss. I didn't seem to be able to get away from that one. I had to take him on, and he's the one that killed me the most. It was always that last one right before the boss that got me. I don't know why he was always tougher for me.
Yeah, I always took the upper path on that. You went like straight through. I took the ladder above that. Okay, that's what was
I took the lower. I took the lower path. Yeah,
I did the same thing as Jordan. That was my path for pretty much all my playthroughs. Only recently, after like I was done playing it, like done tracking stuff, that I did take the upper path. God, I wish I would have did that sooner.
Yeah,
that was so you could just run past everything, keep jumping. Like
yeah,
you can skip those other 2 red guys. Like just keep running because that bottom path. Like how Jordan said, that one demon sits in that little ditch down there. You kill him or whatever, and then you jump up like 2 little steps. But sometimes these little purple guys spawn out of nowhere.
yeah.
Usually they would spawn like above me and behind me, so I could do what Jordan said, just blitz the last one and jump off the cliff. But sometimes that dude would spawn directly in my path and hit me and take my armor off. And then that messes everybody else's patterns up, and now I'm getting jumped every time. Like, I wish I would have took that top path like way earlier.
Yeah, if you get your path down, most of the AI is like predictable to a T. But if you make one false move, or you like, you know what I mean, you move 1 pixel the wrong way, it can really throw everything off. And then you're like, oh, I gotta just die and restart, or I just gotta bum rush it and hope I can make it through.
Yeah,
yep.
That's pretty much this whole game. Like,
yeah,
you can get everything down to like 90% like consistency, but there's always going to be something random that could happen.
And let's be clear, this game is from 1985. It does not control well.
No, oh my
all.
God, these controls suck.
Even if you think you have it down, if you hit the button just a little bit off, you might not have it as down as you think. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten like stuck in a crouching position. I've gotten stuck on a ladder. I've had times where I've just pressed a button, like the attack button, and it just didn't do anything. Jumping, you can only jump at an angle. You can kind of jump at an angle, but you can't change your direction in midair, which makes it tough. It just does not control very smoothly at all.
For how often they make you use these ladders, the ladders suck, dude.
Ladders are the worst part, dude.
Like, bro, trying to get up to the top sometimes, like, and I think I'm all the way up, and I try to like then start moving left and right, but my guy's like, his toe's still on the ladder, so I can't move yet. Or like, if you're trying, you're like trying to crouch, but then there's a ladder, and it's like, dude, it's just a mess on these things.
So many times, and I know you're probably thinking of stage 2. Then later in stage 2, when you're in the town where there's like this giant building. And the building's filled with these like ogre enemies, and you have to climb up and down like, I swear, like 10 ladders.
Yes.
And yeah, that sucks.
I mean, one thing in this game's defense, we're all playing this on an emulator using like full joysticks. The original game used a 4-way joystick, so you couldn't hit diagonals. I think that's what's hanging us up a little bit, because if you try to like rotate from right to bottom or bottom to right or whatever like that, and you hit that diagonal, sometimes you'll just be like stuck in the position that you don't want to be, because the game doesn't read that input. So if you had like a 4-way gated joystick, I think it would control a little better. That's something that makes it a little harder for emulation rather than actually on an arcade.
Honestly, I don't know if I'd want to play this with a joystick, though. I feel like that would be harder.
I mean, if it was 4-way.
Yeah.
Are you using the joysticks on your controller or the D-pad? Because I use the D-pad for everything.
It depends. I started with the D-pad, but then I felt like I was getting stuck a lot with the diagonals. So then I was at a lot better success using the joystick.
Yeah, I use joystick.
I use D-pad the whole time.
Yeah, I always use the D-pad.
I was thinking of using I've only used it like twice. Like I bought this cool little arcade like joystick setup.
Yeah.
But I was looking at it a couple times. I'm like, didn't decide if I like wanted to try to use it on this game. I was like, nah, I feel like that's gonna be way harder, so I didn't even bust it out.
Yeah.
I just stuck with the controller. But now I'm curious to try it with that stick and see how different it is.
I mean, if you don't have like the 4-way, if you still have like a free moving joystick, it's not going to really be much different, I don't think.
It might have the 8-way pre-installed, but I think it came with like a square gate, like a 4-way gate.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think if I wanted to, I could take it apart, put the 4 gate on, and try that.
But the other thing that makes this rough is how with the controls, you can only shoot straight ahead of you. You can't like look up and shoot or down and shoot. If you could do that, it would be a game changer, and you could actually, I don't know, you could progress a lot easier, because there's stuff above you and below you that you'd be able to take out, and it would make it way easier to get through. But the fact that you can only shoot ahead of you makes it rough.
Dude, half the difficulty in the game is just the controls itself.
Yeah,
You're
honestly.
you're fighting those the whole time.
Yeah.
Like Kyle said, the ladder animation, when you get to the top, you think like once your guy crosses a certain point, like he should just stand straight up and you can start running. But I swear, like you have to hold it in for like an extra second or two. He has like, I don't know, it looks like he has like 3 different animations for the top of a ladder or something stupid. He gets up a little bit, and then he like kind of crouches over a little bit, and he crouches a little bit more, and then he stands up. It just takes forever to get off a ladder. That's part of the reason stage 6 took me like 2 days to freaking beat. Just trying to get off the ladders, and I'm fighting those demons at the top.
Yes, like, because when you fight them, there's like 3 ladders, and then there's 1 below you. So you're walking between like 4 different ladders. So if you like try to crouch somewhere, you might accidentally go down one, or if you bump up a little bit, you start climbing up a ladder, then you're pretty much dead in that moment.
Yeah, like you're not even trying to climb them half the time. But if you're even near it and you try to crouch, like I just want to duck under this dude's like bullets he's shooting. Then I go down the ladder and get stuck, and I'm like, oh my god. That was rage-inducing.
Yeah, one of the other things that makes this game so difficult is the fact that the enemies will just spawn completely out of thin air. There are some that you can see on the screen as you approach, but a lot of them will just very genuinely just appear in the middle of the screen at any certain spot. Were there any enemies in specific that you guys wanted to talk about besides for the red dude that gave you trouble?
I mean, I guess I didn't encounter too many of the enemies, did I? Or do they just kind of repeat mostly?
There's a few more after the stage, but there's not a very big or like variety of enemies. You saw a decent bit.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might have seen pretty much most of them then.
I think the only ones you didn't see were probably the skeletons that pop up. You see their skull on the ground, and then you get close and they pop up.
Yeah, that's
spring up.
late.
Yeah, I didn't have to see them.
And you wouldn't have seen those little like those little teepees, whatever those things are that shoot little.
Tower thing, the tower
Yeah.
enemies.
Oh, yeah, that was on what, stage 3 or something. So
Yeah.
Kyle almost saw them. That was the next
Mostly.
level.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't feel like any of the enemies were like, at least the ones I encountered weren't too crazy. I don't know. I know the ogre guys, when I got to those stupid ogres, with, on that little building with all the ladders, like,
Mm-hmm.
they were just annoying because, like I said, I got stuck with like one of the other weapons, like the throwing, like the battle axe thing. And I don't know, it just didn't like perform as well. So it was like, for some of those ogres, you had to just like face check them by like getting up the ladder real quick and spamming to like stop them from moving until you killed them. But sometimes like with the other weapons, they like, I don't know if the fire rate is slower or what their deal is, but those ogres would just kind of like keep walking through me, like I wasn't hit stunning them fast enough, and they would just like walk into my face and kill me. So like, but they weren't hard, but it was, I think I got stuck with that weapon and it made it annoying.
Would you have the axe?
At one point I had an axe. At one point I had a fireball.
Oh, okay.
They both
Those
sucked.
are like, yeah, those are like the two worst weapons.
Yeah, they both sucked, dude. That's why I was trying so hard to get my lance back.
I don't remember an axe. I just saw the torch and the shield, which both suck. They're both dog shit. And the lance was pretty good. My favorite was the daggers. Those were the only attacks I saw.
Yeah, I
Yeah, the
never
dagger was
got
just
the
a
dagger.
better lance, I believe.
Yeah, it's faster. That's why I was kind of surprised whenever Kyle was saying that everything sucked besides for the lance. I was thinking that the daggers are pretty sick, though.
Yeah, I didn't even get the dagger.
Yeah, they're kind of, I think they're just faster.
Yeah, I think so. And the axe, I think, is just a better form of the torch because the stupid torch, whenever you throw it, it hits the ground and it like makes a flame. And you can only have 2 out at a time. So if it's sitting there on the ground burning, you can't attack. So you just kind of get yourself stuck. But with the axe, it's similar, but it doesn't hit the ground. It'll go through, so you can hit like multiple enemies at once. But the only downside is if it's flying, you have 1 less projectile until it goes off the screen because it's not like the lance and the knife that'll disappear once it hits an enemy.
Yeah, that's why I got stuck there so long, because you had to like spam those guys sometimes, and like you just couldn't do
Yeah.
it with those weapons. So that was super annoying. And I thought if I just game overed, it would give me the lance back to start, but it doesn't. It just gives you back what you had, which doesn't make sense for a game over.
It's nice if you have a weapon you like, and pretty much any time I got stuck with the torch or the shield or something on accident, I would pretty much find a spot where sometimes you'll find the enemies that spawn that give you a new weapon, and I'll just kind of attack them, and if they didn't give me the one I want, I'll just go kill myself and try it again, and or you can even sometimes just go off the screen and come back and they'll appear again, and just kind of keep spamming them until they drop the weapon I want. So even if you are stuck with one you don't like, it's not too hard to kind of cycle through to a good one.
Yeah, so it wasn't really necessarily enemies, I don't think. It was more like me battling the crappy weapons they gave me with the crappy controls that I have to deal with.
Yeah.
The only notable enemy that I like, I don't even know what it is like, what are these flying hot dogs? They're like throwing things.
Wait, are we talking about the Woody Pigs?
Talking about the flying hot dogs, dude.
Yeah, so there's an enemy. I don't get the name necessarily, but there's an enemy called the Woody Pigs, and I believe they first appear in the second half of stage 1. But they're kind of flying. I guess we'll just call them little flying hot dogs or something, and they
Dude.
throw spears at you.
Yeah, and I don't even know what they're throwing. It looks like one of those I don't know what's it called, where it's like a pole, but at the end of it, it's like 2 prongs, and it has like it's like a taser.
A Bident.
No, it looks like a taser is what it looks like. It's like an extended taser.
I just thought of it as like a lance or something, like a little spear.
Either way, these flying hot dogs have no business throwing anything.
Oh, dude, the Woody Pigs, yeah, they're something. I kind of love how they're actually called pigs and you're calling them hot dogs. Like that kind of actually works.
Actually, I guess maybe we should call them pigs in a blanket.
Hey, there you go.
Dude. Yeah, they got the little robes on. Yeah, that works. Oh man, any other stages you guys want to talk about? So, I mean, me and Kyle are kind of limited here. I know Brad, you and Sky kind of talked about the later stages a little bit. Was there anything else that stood out you wanted to mention?
Stage 6, like basically the final stage before you fight the final boss, that one was just stacked because you start out, well, there's little skeletons we didn't really talk about. It's just like a little skeleton head on the ground, and if you get up close to it, then it pops up and like will attack you. Pretty much if it pops up, almost most of the time you're going to get hit. So if you can kind of crouch down and break the head before it jumps up and gets you. But I mean, those aren't too bad to deal with once you figure it out. But just that whole stage, like you go up the first ladder and you got to fight 2 of those like unicorn bosses from like the first stage. You go above that, then you got to fight one of the other bosses, which was a dragon. You got to watch out for like those troll guys, and then you have the little red devil thing that from the first stage. There's like I think like 2 or 3 of those in this stage, and that's all before you get to the final boss where you have to fight 2 of the hardest enemy in the game. So that level is just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like a giant boss rush.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, from what I've seen.
Every difficult enemy, you have to go through like multiple of them to get to the top.
Sky, did you fight those 2 unicorn guys? I saw a glitch where you can kind of bypass them. Did you actually fight both of them, or what'd you do to get past them?
No, so at first I was trying to like fight them, and I found out real quick that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's 2 of them up there. They charge back and forth. Like, I try to run like to the sides and lead them away, but by the time you get up the ladder, they charge right back on top of it. So no matter what, you're going to get hit. But I did notice, like when I was on the left side, I was waiting for them to come over, so I would just jumping up and down, throwing my shield or whatever, just messing around. And I noticed they like disappeared. I was like, oh, that just like despawn these guys.
Right.
They jump, but they get stuck midway through their jump, so they're actually kind of floating. It's just enough room where you can walk under them and go up the ladder, and then go over to the right. But even still, sometimes they would jump and hit me. Like my strategy for it, in the end of it was, I would climb up the ladder, and I would just jump right into the first guy near the ladder, take a hit, and he would boost me to the platform above him, and then I'd just keep running.
Okay.
So I would just take the hit, just get past them instead of wasting time. It's my first playthrough when I actually tried to fight them. I went through them guys, I went up, I fought the dragon. I was like, alright, I killed the dragon. I made it all the way to the top, and I had like 50 seconds left to fight 2 of these demons.
No.
So I timed out. I was like, I can't be fighting all these bosses, man. So I would just jump into him, take the hit, and let him boost me to the top and just climb up the ladder and skip both of them.
Okay, I didn't know if they were even possible to kill. I didn't know if you actually fought them out at any point.
You can, but you're going to take a hit, probably die, and even if you get through them, you're going to waste so much time.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's not even worth it. It's just take the hit and get past them, save all your time.
What was it? You guys talking about stage 5?
6.
So yeah, I'm watching it now. What you guys are talking about, and it looks like taking the hit is always the best option because you climb up like 2 ladders, and it looks like there's always a body armor up there. So it's like you get your armor back regardless anyway.
Yeah, you're right. There is.
Yeah, as soon as you get past the dragon, you climb up that ladder at the top of the dragon's pit. If you keep running to the right, an armor just drops. Did you fight the dragon every time, Brad?
I did. I couldn't figure out a way to bypass him.
I found a way to skip him too, but
Man.
that took ages to find out the path. As soon as I skip them guys to take my hit, so now you got to be careful because now I'm one shot. But I run up that first ladder, keep running to the left, and just go to the left side and climb all the ladders. Sometimes he'd spit like fireball, and it would throw my whole thing off, and I'd die. But usually I can react to it and get past him. As soon as you get to that top ledge, you just bolt to the right and just keep running. And like the dragon looks like he's gonna hit you, but he stays underneath you the whole time, and then he'll fly off the screen. Then you got to hit that little skeleton and grab your armor. And by the time you get that armor, the orc on the left like shoots that like a mace thing at you or whatever, spike ball. So as soon as you hit the armor, you got to jump and then grab the ladder and take off to the top. You can just skip that whole thing.
You'd be like so precise about it though.
Yeah, I eventually got it down pretty decent. Sometimes they'll throw me a curveball, like the dragon will spit fire, I'm not expecting it, and just kill me. But I think like 9 times out of 10, I can get that run and keep my armor up the top.
Yeah, the thing with stage 5 and 6, you don't get checkpoints anymore, so you have to do the entire stage in one run.
Yeah, every time you die.
Yeah, that's what really makes it hard. All the other stages, you get 1 checkpoint roughly at the halfway point of the stage, sometimes a little before. But yeah, on the 5 and 6, you don't get a checkpoint. You got to make it the whole way up, beat the whole stage in one go. That's what made it so brutal.
It's rough.
I thought the midway checkpoints were trash. I was like, dude, this sucks. Like, you got to play so much, you get 1 checkpoint. Yeah. But then when you get to 5 and 6, you're like, oh, I kind of miss them checkpoints now.
Yeah.
Like 5 and 6, you have to play the entire level every time you die. Yeah, I got my own little strats down for stage 6, but even if I get a perfect run to the top, them guys at the top are unpredictable.
One small detail about the shield I don't think we brought up, you can use it to block projectiles. So if enemies are shooting at you and you spam the shield, it'll neutralize their attack. So while the shield kind of sucked because it only hit 4 blocks in front of you before it disappeared as opposed to flying the whole way across the screen, you could use it to stop things that are getting shot at you. Still suck though.
That still sucks. I still like the shield. I mean, for certain enemies. But the knife really does destroy everything.
I don't know how you did this so perfectly, but the video I was watching was to a T, perfectly synced up with everything you were saying.
Really?
So legitimately, as you were saying, oh yeah, climb the ladder, bolt to the right, get the armor. At that exact moment, the guy in the video was climbing that ladder, going right, getting the armor, all that. So I was kind of able to like follow along with what you were saying. It was a very good visual,
It's probably Skylar's video.
right?
Look at the bottom. It probably says 15 credit run.
It's like Brad posted a squashers, man. And by the way, I think one thing we should point out: your character can only be hit twice. He's wearing a suit of armor. If he gets hit once, the armor gets knocked off and he's just kind of running around in his underwear. And there are a few instances in the game where you can pick up armor to put it back on again, but I think that's pretty rare.
Yeah, there's some really weird triggers. Like, I was watching a video on it. If you like jump in this very specific spot on the map, like your character has to go through it, it triggers like the armor to fall out of the sky. So it's some of them you'll probably never find unless, I mean, you could get lucky and randomly find it, but they're just like hidden and there's no way of knowing it's there without looking it up or just randomly jumping around the map, and hopefully you find it.
Speaking of our character running around in his underwear, I just want to point out that the final boss of this game is not wearing pants. He is full dong out. I mean, he's like legitimately wearing what looks like socks, and just he has like skin colored fur and is just walking around full on exposed.
Dude, you never go full dong.
He's full dong out, dude.
I think that's why he's killing you. Maybe he wants your underwear.
Oh, he's jealous. I get it, dude. I get it. I don't think they'll fit him though. He's about 20 times the size of you, maybe. Why'd he kidnap the princess though? Why'd he take Prin? What does he want with her? Oh no, never mind. Let's just move on from all
Yeah,
this.
let's not go there.
Oh no. We mentioned how you kind of refight the bosses. There are not very many bosses in this game. They're kind of just reused, but which boss is your favorite that you fought? I mean, Kyle, you've only fought the one, but
Hey, don't call me out.
so we know which one is your favorite. So
No, he just happens to be my favorite. It's not because it's the only one I fought. I just really liked him.
okay, yeah. Okay, that's fair. We'll say that then. So everybody else's favorite boss though.
The dragon was pretty cool how he flew all around the screen, and as you could like hit the back of him, you would like take little chunks off of him, and eventually you can kill him. But other than that, I don't know, nothing really stuck out too much to me.
Yeah, I like the dragon. I kind of like how he kind of follows your movements. So you kind of want to jump around as you're fighting him. Otherwise, he'll just gun straight for you. But if you jump, then he'll kind of try to follow you around a bit. So that's your way to kind of getting underneath of him, getting to the other side.
Yeah, I'm thinking the dragon was probably the funnest and the coolest. But then again, like those the big red demons at the top, like the final boss demon things, they suck and they're annoying. They're super hard, but I mean it was interesting fighting them because like if I couldn't get good hits on them, it kind of felt good just to survive at least like a minute against one of them guys. Like it was interesting the whole time. Like you got to keep moving, jumping. They throw like little shurikens at you, so you have to constantly hit them with your shield, try to dodge them and stuff. I don't know. As much as I hated them, I thought they were a pretty good boss.
All right. Well, I just have one other thing I wanna kind of talk about. But before I do that, do you guys have anything else you want to bring up, or should we kind of move along here?
One thing I wanted to say that I found in my research as I was trying to figure stuff out about the game is originally, I guess, when they were making the game, they were supposed to have like alternate paths, so you could like take different routes. So that was kind of the idea of you beat it twice. The first time you beat the game, then you start back over and you have to take all the paths that you didn't take the first time. So that, I think that's kind of where they got the idea of doing it twice. So in that sense, it sounds really cool. But the way they just make you do it twice, kind of lame. But yeah, it would have been a really cool idea. I think they had like time restraints and they couldn't finish it, so they just did what they did.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, since you made it through the first one, Sky, like there was literally nothing different from the second playthrough.
I've read that it's supposed to have like more difficulty, like enemies are faster and stuff, but I literally didn't notice anything. It seemed just as hard.
It looks harder.
Maybe the enemies were faster. I mean, after playing the first loop for, a whole day, I didn't really notice a difference. It was still all just super hard anyway, so I didn't pick up on anything.
Anything else you want to bring up?
Let's see. We talked about the hot dogs. Nope, that's it.
That's all that matters.
The most important thing.
Just the hot dogs.
Pretty sure I said like 10 episodes ago, I want more glizzies in my arcade games, baby. Let's go.
There you go.
All right, well, I'm going to I'm going to kind of introduce a new segment here. We're going to call it maybe a little bit of a soft segment, but this has been a bit of a reoccurring theme here. So I'm going to introduce a segment here called Bad Translation Minute. This game was ported a lot. So I want to point out the NES version. So this is the text that you're treated to upon beating the game for a second time. And I'm going to do my best to read this exactly as it says. Congratulations. This story is happy end. Thank you. Being the wise and courageous knight that you are, you feel strength welling in your body. Return to starting point. Challenge again. The end.
Dude, nailed it.
Happy end. That's not the first time we heard that one either.
Happy end.
That's all you get.
The spelling, dude. Oh my god, I love the translation in some of these old Japanese games, dude. They're so fun to read.
Oh, dude, speaking of the Japanese version, those demon guys only take 4 hits in the Japanese version.
Really?
We're playing the one you have to hit him 8 times.
That's rough.
Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, I thought ours would be easier. No, ours is more difficult.
Yeah, typically the Japanese
Damn.
versions are harder because they think we suck.
Yeah, I saw a video of some dude running through like the Japanese version. Dude, he crushes as soon as he like hits those things, he just spams them and crushes them instantly. I'm like, come on, why can't I do that?
Wait, which enemy is it?
The real difficult guys at stage 5 and stage 6, like them twin
The
demon
Satan
bosses.
bosses.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't think it'd make that much of a difference. Like, oh, just hit him 4 more times. No, that's a task.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of crazy that our version is way harder.
Go figure. Well, that's all I got. So, Brad, if you want to take it over and hit us with some numbers, man, you feel free to do so.
All right, let's do it. For the numbers, we already covered how far we made it, so we're not going to do the whole credit usage thing. But I got one small thing to throw in here. After 1 year of the podcast, the results are in, boys.
Oh, no, I don't want to do this.
Oh,
Jordan,
What's
you
this?
are not the father of Arcadiology.
oh,
No.
Wow.
oh! I told you.
I did
told
not
you.
ask for this segment.
I told you who ate my baby daddy. I told you.
But we're going to get into a quick rundown of the leaderboards. This is something we've been tracking since the first episode. We really don't bring it up much. So I think after 1 year of playing, we should at least do a quick overview here. So we're going to do our individual credit usage for all the games combined so far. This is using our best run.
Can I say one thing before
Yeah.
you say the tokens? I want everyone to keep in mind that I went so freaking hard on Outzone, and I totally did not have to. Because like I definitely could have played that again when I like realized and learned a lot of things, but I said I didn't end up doing it. So I just want everyone to keep in mind that my Outzone token total is like 10 times what some of the other ones are.
Well, I'm not going to do I'm just going to do a combined. I'm not going to read every single
No,
game.
I know,
That'd be
but
a
I'm
bit
just
lengthy.
saying like I think that's what like the main game that's kind of really bumping mine up.
That's the biggest sore on your record there.
Oh yeah.
All right, so after 27 games, obviously we're not including today's, we have Jordan in 4th place with 587 credits, Kyle's in 3rd with 557, Sky's in 2nd with 387, and I'm on top of the boards with 322.
Woo!
Stupid
Yeah.
squawkers.
I like how there's
Nice.
there's like a 30 coin difference between me and Jordan, and then it gets
Right.
to Skylar and it's like a 200 difference.
That's because as soon as we're done recording, they're already playing the next game.
I
I,
know.
play the day before
Yeah.
we record, and Kyle does it an hour before.
It's pretty much you and Kyle and Jordan, then me and Sky versus each other for the most part, as far as
Yeah.
how close we are.
The hard work will pay off, boys. Just put the work in.
That's right.
Nah.
Let that be a lesson.
And the other category that I call skill games, these are ones that you're not guaranteed to beat, just like today's game, because you can't really immediately continue where you die. So the way I rank these ones, anytime one of us gets the furthest in a game or ties for it, you get 1 level. So Kyle, you're level 2, Jordan's level 3, Sky's level 4, and I'm level 7.
Woo!
So if you guys want to party up, I can power level you a little bit. Just let me know.
Yeah, dude. I'll be the healer.
Brad's such a show off, man.
You know, I got to get it in here somehow.
Now, I just want to make it clear. This section wouldn't exist if B wasn't first in both categories. I'm just saying.
That's
yeah,
true.
He added that
He just wanted to
after.
gloat a little bit. That's all.
I fell behind
That's
in
fair.
trivia, so I got to make it up somewhere.
Yeah, that's fair.
So if anyone wants to look at like details at more of the numbers, you can see all the individual games, our ratings, rankings, all that stuff. We'll have a spreadsheet in the description here, so you can check it out if you want to break down all the further details of it. But anyways, there's that. Let's move into our rating then. So we're gonna rate this one out of 15. There's this weird little thing. I don't know if anyone did it, but if you shoot a gravestone 15 times, it summons like this little wizard guy. It'll like shoot magic at you and turn you into a frog. Did anyone see that?
I saw
seen
it,
it in
but I
the
didn't do
video.
it personally. Yeah.
All right, so that's what we're gonna use for our rating. We're gonna go out of 15 today. I guess give you guys a chance to figure out your numbers. Despite the difficulty of this game, it was pretty fun. Oh, fun's maybe not the best word, but I did enjoy some of it. The difficulty of the
Fun-ish.
game, yeah, the difficulty of the game wasn't the worst part. It's mostly, as we said, the controls. So if they tighten the controls up a little bit, I'd probably go a little higher, but I'm actually going 10 out of 15 here. It's definitely frustrating, but when you finally make it past the stage, like Jordan was saying, it feels good. Like you accomplish something when you beat a stage. I just spend like hours trying to figure out how to beat one of the harder stages, and you finally get past it, and it's like, I did it. So yeah, I'm going 10 out of 15 here.
I'm giving this thing a 5 out of 15.
Oh,
Now listen,
I understand.
I mean,
I'm listening.
it's definitely a rage game, right? Like these games, I mean, like I said, there's a particular person for these games. I'm not one of them. I don't like playing games where it's like it's almost every time you get to a thing, assuming you've never watched any of it before and you're just going in blind, it's like there's parts of the game where it's like you have to die here. Like you will die, doesn't matter who you are. If it's the first time you're playing it, you die. Because they throw things at you that's like there's nothing you can do about it until you learn that it's coming. And so like I don't know, to me it seems like when I'm playing the game, I'm not really like playing the game. I feel like I'm doing this weird like pixel thing where it's like, okay, I've been here before. I have to run to here, stand here, shoot this guy, and then now I know that this guy's coming. I have to move 2 blocks forward and then jump. Like it seems very like mathematical, and to me that's not fun. Like a lot of these stages seems like you have to keep doing the same thing. Like you guys are kind of saying, there's not really like on some of the bosses or like some of those guys where you're fighting the 2 guys at once. It's like, I mean, maybe you spend a really long time trying to kill those 2 guys, but it's like the math just works out better to like go up, let the guy hit you, jump. Like every single time you just do that because like that's just how it's done. Like that stuff doesn't seem fun to me. And then like the weapon power ups, like you guys, I didn't even get all of them, but you guys said there's only like the dagger, which is like maybe a little better than the weapon you start with, and then the shield, which is like kind of necessary for like the one stage. But other than that, they gave you these other 2 weapons that are completely useless in my opinion. They don't do anything. They're like just worse than the weapon you start with, which is like a weird thing to have. But I don't know. It's just not my idea of fun. Everything just seems like calculated. It feels like I'm just doing math homework or something.
yeah, it's very much just memorization.
I get that. Out of 15, if you would have asked me this on day 1 of playing, I probably would have gave it a fat goose egg and said this game is trash.
Yeah.
Even though I like it now, I can still acknowledge if somebody says it's trash. I'm like, yeah, I get that. It probably is trash. Like, it still kind of sucks. So if I was rating it for other people, I would give it a super low score. But I'm thinking purely for me right now, how much I liked it, and I'm gonna give it a 12 out of 15.
Okay.
Wow.
Just because I acknowledge that there's still a ton of like luck and unpredictability. I mean, this was an arcade game, probably above all other arcade games. Like this one eats your quarters the most. Like this stuff was intentionally put in there to kill you, to get another coin out of you. Like straight up, some of them parts are ridiculous, like Kyle's saying. But also how he was saying how it's like real mathematical. I kind of like stuff like that, just because I see it more as like a puzzle, like how I get to the bosses to the top of the tower like the fastest way. I kind of like doing that stuff, like to find the most efficient path. And I mean, you can manipulate like the AI like that once you learn how all the enemies and stuff react to you and move. So like I said, it's like 90% skill, but there's still like 10% luck where you don't know what's going to happen. But I like that kind of gameplay where I can keep repeating it and figure out patterns and stuff and get better at it. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 12 out of 15.
All right, Jordan, let's hear it.
I am not the target demographic for this game. I get that there are people who really enjoy playing these challenging games. And while I admit I did feel satisfied when I felt like I really got something down, it's still just not my cup of tea. I'd rather play an arcade game that I can put like 5 to 10 tokens in and cruise through it and beat it and just enjoy the whole thing the whole way through, rather than, oh, I gotta play this game for days and days and days until I'm even capable of beating it. It's just not really my thing. I'm not saying I didn't have fun with it though. I mean, it was enjoyable in spurts. It was satisfying at times to figure things out. And I mean, it's a classic. I mean, it's a well-known, popular arcade game. I don't want to go too high or low. I was kind of hoping the number it was out of would be a little higher to give me more wiggle room here, but with what we got, I'm going to go with an 8 out of 15.
Solid score. It's one of those games if you're just starting it, unless you're going to sit there and master it, you pretty much expect to hop in, play for a bit, and then leave before it gets too stressful. Otherwise, you're not going to have fun. It's either that or pump your life into one or the other.
I think most people who play this game for the very first time, who aren't like us, I mean, we had like an objective to do here. If it's someone who's just, oh, I've heard of this game, I'm going to play it. I think a large majority of people would not get past that first red armorer in the first stage. I think they would get to that and be done.
Yeah, that's the first sign of adversity. They just bounce like, nope, not for me. I'm out.
It's just it's halfway through the first stage. Like
On that video that whoever linked it that I just watched, that guy just walks up to that thing and just hits it 3 times and it dies. Like, it doesn't do anything.
I don't get how some of these people are killing those things the way that they are.
It's just somehow that you can, like the AI, if you get real close to them, you don't jump or attack for a second. Like, they just stay on the ground and then you spam them. That's just how those guys work.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It doesn't always, like, maybe if you fire like half a second too early, that might make them jump off the ground and fly around and go crazy. So it's,
and it
does.
That's what I've done so many times.
Oh, for sure. Even still, when I think I have it down, like, those guys still wreck me sometimes. I'm like, come on, man. I know how to kill you, bro. There's always a little chance that if you make a little mistake like that, like, it throws their whole pattern off.
All right, well, let's move in and put this one on the boards, guys. We have to rank it among the other 27 games we've played. So it's a tough one. Anyone got a good starting point?
Like 22, I think, is my initial thought.
I'm looking at like 12,
Dang,
to be honest.
Hey, that's rough.
12.
I'm going to be honest, like, me personally, it's probably not going to get up there. For me, I would at least put this somewhere in top 10 for me. I think it's a top 10. But I know it's frustrating, and it's a game that I like, but I probably would not recommend it to anybody. Like, if you like having fun, don't really play this game. If you strictly want the deck stacked against you and you want a challenge, a ridiculous challenge that doesn't even feel fair most of the time, then play it.
I was kind of just looking at like, all right, would I play this or would I play this? And we have Altered Beast at 21. I'd rather play Altered Beast. We have Black Tiger at 22. I'd rather yeet Black Tiger off the face of the earth. So like in between there felt like solid to me, but I didn't think you guys were going to say it high. Damn.
I mean, you're going specifically on what you would rather play. I feel like you got to just look at it objectively. Like, is this a good game? Is this a bad game? You know what I mean? Like, where does it slot in as far as just overall?
I think that's kind of what would determine if I want to play it again, if it's
Not
good
necessarily.
or bad.
There's some games up top that I'm like, it's good. Like, I'm never really going to play some of these again. Like, I'm never going to touch Bucky O'Hare. I'd rather play a bunch of games under it, but I think it's still worth it just for what it was.
True.
I don't think there's anything above that spot that I'm like, yeah, this game's better than that.
So I don't expect this to get anywhere in top 10.
This game's just, it's very flawed.
I'm okay with whatever because I know it's one of those games. It's either you think it's awesome, you love the challenge, or it's total trash and you don't want to play it again.
Yeah. Well, Scott says top 10. I say 12. Jordan says in the 20s. Kyle, what are you thinking?
I know our list is kind of like a little whack because I'm looking at number like 10 here.
You're still talking about Joe and Mac. You're
I'm
still
seeing
calling them out.
Joe and Mac.
Every episode.
Bro, he just shouldn't be there.
Get Mike back on the show, man.
Every time I look at this list, I'm like looking, I'm like, all right, it's above that, it's above that. And then I hit Joe and Mac, and I'm like, what? Who put this here?
Leave him alone. Quit picking on Joe and Mac.
What they do?
First I was thinking like I could put this around like I don't know 14ish maybe, but then I see Joe and Mac, and I'm like, get him out of there.
What's he going up there? Get him out of there.
What did Joe and Mac ever do except for sexual assault? Come on.
That's about it, dude. That's all they have.
Well, here's the thing. I remember distinctly one of the reasons it got up there is because the controls were really good and clean, and there were no cheap deaths. Anything that happened, it was your fault. You didn't have to like memorize stuff. It was just like a nice, simple, simple, clean game. That's
That's
mostly
true.
what's holding it down up there.
It's a comfort
I
game.
do remember those controls being super awesome, man. Like
Yeah.
it felt great to play that game. I just
Who
didn't
is
like
this guy?
everything else.
A spokesperson for Joe and Mac?
I might be.
The controls were
It's a
awesome,
good,
but everything
clean
else
game, boys.
sucked.
Good, clean game. Anyways, Kyle, sometimes, like we said, this is somewhat of a merge of four people's opinions. There's certain games you got to be like, you just got to ignore it, pretend it's not there, and rank around it.
Yeah. Trust me, I've done that a lot.
Yeah.
There's like 2 of the top 3 give me nightmares.
Then I'm going 14.
14 above Zybots.
Yes.
I mean, I like it better than Zybots, I'll say that much.
I say 12. It bumps Shadow Force. Sky, you say top 10? What do you
Stop it.
mean? Are you saying number 1, or what are you thinking here?
Nah,
Like your
I
personal?
wouldn't say one.
No.
Even though I probably played this more or as much as Alien Syndrome. It's like
Right.
that was like the same amount of effort for me, like as far as time probably. These are the only two games I actually and Outzone, I guess. That's probably the 3 games I grinded the most out of this. When I say top 10, I would say either like Kyle was saying, bump Joe and Mac and put it at 10, or personally, I might even put it right under Outzone. That's just me.
Okay.
Dude, I'm willing. You know what? I'll compromise. I want number 10 if it means we bump Joe and Mac down.
Oh, but I'm down at like 22.
Okay. Hey, I might be in on this, guys.
Oh, let's see. All right, B, bring it home for us. What is it?
I mean, I don't know if I'd put it above that personally, but if it means getting it above Shadow Force, I think I'm game.
Stop it, dude. I'd give me Shadow Force over this any day. I'd do 14 just to see something else go above Zybots, but that's about the only reason why.
As much as I liked it, and I would put it high on like a personal list of my own, wherever it lands, wherever you guys are thinking, I'm fine because I know this game is pretty ridiculous.
I mean, I really want Joe and Mac out, but I can definitely come down. And that's where I was initially, right? 14 to bump Zybots down.
Yeah.
What if we compromise and go to 13 then? Because I'm probably feeling 12 also. What if we just bump Wizard down?
But Wizard Fire's better.
I mean, there's a lot of games that are better, but they're not where we want them. So
Listen, I'll put it there, but I just want the community to know that Wizard Fire felt like I was playing the game, and then this one felt like the game was playing me.
them developers are playing your pockets.
All right. Put it at 13 and we'll see if Reddit is okay with it.
Hey, they don't have to be okay with it. They're going to love it either way.
Please don't unsubscribe.
This game felt like it was telling me what to do. You know what I mean? Where it was like, oh, like, okay, now I'll stand here. And then I didn't. And it was like, we just told you to stand there. Like, you can't stand over there. You're going to have to be over here. And it was like, the whole game was like that. It's like, nope, don't climb that. Climb this.
Pretty much.
What did I just got a picture in my head when you said that, like of those stupid, like those clickbait YouTube thumbnails, like don't climb that. There's an arrow pointing to it. Climb this. There's an
That's
arrow
what the
pointing to
game
that.
felt like. It was like, climb this. And I climbed it. It was like, hey, don't climb it that fast. I'm like, dude.
This game's just like arcade clickbait.
Oh, and by the way, speaking of the Reddit people, huge shout out to the dude from Reddit who comments on our YouTube videos and is the one who said JJ Squawkers at number 3 is insane.
Yeah, because he thought it should be number 1, I'm sure.
No, because it sucks and he agreed. I like that guy. Shout out to you, dude.
We got Shadow Force at 12, Ghosts and Goblins at 13, Wizard Fire at 14. Now, let's get some trivia, Jordan.
Here we go, boys. Leaderboard. Sky's got 50 points. Brad has 42. Kyle has 37. Kyle, this is your chance to break into the 40s for the second week in a row. Let's make it happen. Question number 1. Game Rant named Ghosts and Goblins the blank hardest video game of all time. A, the 5th hardest. B, the 7th hardest. C, the 10th hardest.
I'll go with 7th.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 5th.
I'm going to hit it with a 7.
All right. Game Rant named Ghosts and Goblins the 5th hardest video game of all time.
Wonder what they had
That one
above it.
goes to Sky. That, you know what? I should have looked that up and I didn't. Anyway, question number 2. The large ogre-like enemies on the ladder climbing section of stage 2 that Kyle knows very well are called what? A, Big Man. B, Killer. C, Stomper.
I'm gonna say A.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards. What was it, Big Man?
Big Man, yes.
Big Man. We'll do that.
I'm going Big Man.
The correct answer is the big man.
That's right.
I thought that was goofy enough that he deserved a spot in here. The ogre-like enemies are big man. And question number 3. The playable character Arthur has also appeared as a playable character in what other Capcom game series? A. Darkstalkers. B. Marvel vs. Capcom. C. Monster Hunter.
I'm going to say Marvel and Capcom.
Okay.
I'll go with Darkstalkers.
Just for the controversy, I'm going C.
Oh,
Monster Hunter. All right. Well, we have a clean sweep today by Sky, 3 for 3, because Arthur is a playable character in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Dang.
Sky, you're up to 53. Brad's at 43. Kyle's at 38. And that will do it for trivia. All right, boys. Anything else we wanted to talk about before we start wrapping things up here?
Yeah, I'd like to go over this whole list real quick if you guys have time.
I like that. B, didn't we get like an email or a message?
Yeah, I can pull that up. Give me 1 second here, boys. You want to do that now?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and bring it up. I was gonna hop in here, talk about that pretty soon anyway. So go ahead and.
So it comes in from Bobby T. He says, "Hey there, I just listened to the Gauntlet episode. I was a 9-year-old kid when this game hit the arcades, so I have fond memories of it. As an arcade machine, played at home for free as one player though, and the magic is pretty much gone as you discovered. It's maybe the arcade game that loses the most through emulation. Gauntlet 2 came out a year later, is an enhancement of the game. All 4 players can choose the same character type. You can play tag with other players and other stuff that you probably don't care about. And guessing you're not going to review that one. Hey, Bobby, we care. We might play that one. Your review did make me want to go check out the more modern Gauntlet games. I have actually never played them. That's including the PS4 Gauntlet. It's rated M, which I find hilarious. Guess more games to add to my list. Anyway, that's my random email. Looking forward to your next episode. Maybe even some games that came out before Gauntlet. Give it a try. Thanks, guys."
Just for Bobby T, I think I'm going to try the other Gauntlet games and give them a chance.
We got to.
I'm down to play other Gauntlet games, especially the more modern ones. But
I mean, we got through the worst one, right? So
yeah, I'm sure playing that like in an arcade, like way back in the day, was super sick. But yeah, man, just trying to emulate it nowadays, and especially playing it for the first time, just like talk about a game that just didn't age well, man.
Yeah, maybe the other ones are a little bit better. Well, he said what? Number 2 was an improvement, right?
Right.
So maybe we'll at least check out number 2. And I'll try to give it more time, even if I get sick of it. I'm going to give it more time because I was sick of this game, Ghosts and Goblins, like almost immediately. But now it's like one of my favorite games after playing it for so long.
My question for him is, though, in Gauntlet 2, if you stand still long enough, do the walls disappear?
Oh,
Because that will
man.
determine how much time I put into it.
We ain't even going to talk about that cheap crap.
Yeah, next time we'll do if it's a similar gameplay, we'll do a credit count and who can get the higher score maybe instead. Make it a little more fair.
Yeah, more interesting.
And speaking of playing older games, Ghosts and Goals. That we played Ghosts and Goblins actually. Ghosts and Goblins came out the same year as Gauntlet. I think actually like a month before it. So
There you go.
hey, we played an older game. Some of us liked it,
Okay.
some of us didn't.
All right.
I would say Ghosts and Goblins looks vastly superior to the original Gauntlet, though.
Graphically, you mean?
Yes, graphically.
Yeah, I did definitely. I mean, compared to the NES version, this looks way better than the NES version too. So this was at a time when the arcade games were ahead of consoles. So like, we played a pretty good version of this, I feel like.
But anyway, yes, thank you very much for the email. Anyone else, please email us at arcadiologyquestions@gmail.com. I think we should wrap it up here, boys. So next time on Arcadiology, we have Willow. You can follow us on all social media at Arcadiology. As I already said, email us, arcadiologyquestions@gmail.com, or use the link in the podcast bio. We have a free Discord you can join. By all means, hop in there, be our friends, talk to us. And as always, we'd appreciate it very much if you'd leave us a 5-star review. And if you do, I am more than happy to read it on air. I'm still waiting for one of those. I would love to read that along with those emails. So send them on in. But that's all I got. So, boys, if you want to go ahead and wrap it up, feel free to say goodbye.
See ya.
Later.
Later, dudes.
Insert the closing line here. Goodbye.